Yeah, that shit don't normally happen.
No.
Back off. Fuck around and find out.
Uh-oh.
What up, everybody? This is Cigar Snob alongside Steven, BM, which stands for Baby Mama, and Artman 5ever. We're up here watching Olympic badminton.
Man, this is really fun to watch. Like, I have not stopped watching this since we got
I
here.
know.
It is actually pretty good.
It is addictive.
Oh, well, Steven.
Oh, you need a plug.
Who need a plug?
Your boy Art over here.
Oh, he ain't plugged his headset in?
He plugged it in.
God damn.
So guess who Tom is trying to get to executive?
Who's nuts?
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
What? When this gonna happen? Because I'm sure gonna be here.
Don't bring your light-skinned ass up here standing in the front throwing your panties and
I'm
shit.
gonna throw my panties up on them.
He's thinking about it, but they want $150,000.
Fuck out of here.
Go ahead, do it, man. Charge it though.
You gonna have to charge. Fuck that.
Hey, I'm down, man. Even if they only sing 5 songs, I'm good.
Of course you are. You don't care.
Cause I like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Nah, bro.
Don't have to be any alternative reason, sir.
The reasons.
The reason
that we
are here. Shout out to my nephew Juju over here. About to hit up the Navy in another 16 days.
Damn.
But for $150,000, I want Maurice White dug out of the ground.
Not gonna happen.
Weekend at Bernie style.
He's here.
Prop him up.
Had that motherfucker running around doing conga line and
I
shit.
thought he died. Steve and I know we are into this badminton.
Man, this is really interesting. Like, I had never thought about it because, you know, when I was a kid, we used to play this all the time in my grandmother's backyard. And, I mean, it's a fun sport. Like, really, when you play, I mean, you start playing, you get, especially people that are very competitive.
And it's a mixture of everything because you have speed, power, quickness, strategy.
And technique. There's a lot of finesse technique in it.
Yeah, you got it all, so.
And this is like, they're really, you know, when you play, you remember playing, that thing comes real quick, but they are really hitting it really hard.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
And then and then it'll slow. Then it slows down as it drops too. So it's got all kind of machinations going on.
Machinations.
So this is the second to last Saturday in July. Summer is flying by.
Summer is over.
So
they already talking about back to school. So.
Yep.
Yeah, they got a back to school thing. A couple of back to school events this weekend already with like free haircuts and backpacks and all that.
And there's a shortage of supplies apparently. Pencils, paper, crayons. Yeah, there's I guess.
Yeah, because people weren't ordering that shit.
Yep.
During the pandemic, because everybody was going to school at home.
Wouldn't it? To me, it just seemed like you would have more because nobody was buying it.
They weren't producing.
So they slowed down production. They probably could have had like a lot of backstock. Because usually, when in factories, they don't sell a lot of something, they'll slow down production, but they'll still have a ton of it just sitting there, because even when you slow it down, you still have a lot. It's just you're not getting rid of it fast enough anymore.
Yeah, and even with inventory, they'll only want to keep so much anyway.
You got to think about the raw materials. You know, who was out there working, collecting those raw materials? Nobody.
That's right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I would think that just given all the stuff they just had stopped, that they just sent it all, they would have a decent amount, but who knows? I don't really know all that stuff, how it all works out. I've just seen it a little bit, but that's about it.
So let's talk some cigar maintenance.
Hell yeah, baby!
Because the three of us got into it offline about a particular topic this week, and so first and foremost, let me start off by thanking you for Cigar Snob for recommending the Govee device.
Oh, absolutely.
For the humidor. So I promptly picked one up, put one in, and realized, damn, humidity is way too high. Got to adjust. So I put some cedar strips in there, and I took some of the distilled water out of the water table to bring it down, added some more cigars. So, but talk to us about the importance of maintaining a humidor at the right temperatures and the pluses and the minuses.
So the first thing is, not everybody's going to keep their humidity at the same degree.
True.
So it all depends on how you like your cigar. I like my cigar a little drier, and part of that is because it gives it a little heavier taste to me. So I keep my humidors at 69.
And for some of those cigars that require a little bit more aging, that also helps in the process too.
That is very true. I do have a separate aging humidor, and then I also have an everyday humidor, and then I have my storage humidor.
Call that the MILF humidor. Mm-hmm. The aging. Mm-hmm.
Shit. So,
you got a MILFador.
The MILFador. But yeah, I prefer mine at 69. Some people prefer them at 72. Some are at 75. Some are at 65 and 68.
69 is a good number, though.
That's my favorite number.
96 for you lefties.
I'm a lefty. So.
For those with dyslexia.
Fuck you.
So, one of the issues with having too much humidity is that you can develop mold on your sticks.
That is correct.
And when that happens, you got to throw them out, and you got to clean out your entire humidor too, because you don't want those mold spores continuing to live and breathe inside of your humidor. That happened to me when I first got my humidor, and I learned a valuable lesson. These sticks cost money.
Not to mention, making sure you keep your humidors out of direct sunlight.
Yep, mine was in. You all gave me a correction on that, and made a dramatic difference. So thank you. I definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Govee device, I was looking for a new humidification device because Boveda has stopped making I forgot the name of
Butler?
it. The Boveda Butler, which was a little square Bluetooth device that is a digital hygrometer, and it sends the signal to your phone or whatever. So when I couldn't find anymore, then the ones that I did find, people were selling them, even shops were selling them for like 3 times what they were worth. And the reason for that is Boveda said that they're still going to maintain the application, but they're just not going to produce any more of them. So for that reason, people are like rushing to grab them. And I'm like, hey, I'm not spending $120 on a $40 item.
Hell no.
So I started doing my research, looked at a couple of different ones. I actually ordered like 5 different units. And my newest humidor that I got, which is the new main humidor for storage, that one I turned, I put all 4 of the units in with a 69 pack. And I also had my manual hygrometer, and I put that in there. And the Govee was about, they say it's plus or minus 3 degrees humidity and temperature, but that thing came in at like 0.8 off, where everything else was like 3 to 4 degrees difference in temperature and humidity. So, and then my manual hygrometer was pretty much spot on with the Govee, so I returned all the rest of them and purchased some more Govees. And the best thing about this is you have an app. The way I did mine is I created a bridge with it, so I can know what my cigar humidity and temperature is at, no matter if I'm home, if I'm here at the show, if I'm flying out to D.C., if I'm in Philly with the lady, if I'm on vacation with the kids, wherever I am in the world. As long as I got an internet connection, I can go ahead and open my app, and it just, like I'll show you right now, it'll show you exactly what's going on.
Take it to the bridge.
So
yeah, I like having that visibility no matter what's going on. So
that's the app. You open it up, then boom, it'll tell you 68.4. The reason my humidor temperometer is number 64 here is because I just loaded up a whole bunch more stuff last night. So it's going to take a couple of days to even out. Yeah. But it'll tell you, and you can set your limits of what you want your temperature to be at, what you want your humidity to be at, and it'll actually alert you when it's over or under. It'll automatically message you.
Calm down, motherfucker.
So, yeah, this gadget, and I think, what was it, 23 or 24 bucks for it? and it does everything. And it's a little white box, probably as big as this box of matches, maybe a little bit more. It runs on AAA batteries. The AAA batteries last, I think they said, at a minimum 12 months, almost to 18 months, depending on how often you cycle. And I have mine cycling high. I have mine giving me a reading every 3 minutes. And that's just because I'm, setting the humidor up. I want to make sure that everything is correct. I want to make sure that there's no lulls in the humidity or there's no highs in the humidity. So that's the reason for that. The other thing is the app's pretty cool. When you create the bridge, if you have an extra tablet lying around or an old phone that you're not using, just go ahead and turn on the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth on the phone, and then all you have to do is log into your account. Then you log into the account on your phone, and then now you are able to see everything everywhere. Again, it's one of those items that, technology has brought us, and I love it. I mean, I don't have to keep going to my humidors in all the different places they are and opening them up and checking the manual hygrometer. I don't have to do that anymore. I literally just open my phone, and boom, there it is in real time. And you can refresh at that moment. So if it checked 2.5 minutes ago or 2 minutes ago, I can just hit the refresh button on there.
It's immediate.
And it reads it automatically and tells me everything that's going on.
Could you imagine if this was around in the 70s? Pimps would have thousands of women.
Low jacking. That's funny.
I mean, because you
if you got the coronavirus shot, then that means you got the tracker in you already. So
that's
Bill
true.
Gates tracker.
Bill Gates tracker. That's right.
And Windows automatically updates every 3 days anyway. So there's that.
But Windows is also full of viruses, and there is that too.
Beggars can't be choosers.
True. So, what is your first cigar of the day?
My first cigar of the day is a box that I broke out from 2015. It is the cigar of the year for 2014, which was the AJ Fernandez New World. This is one of those cigars that my buddy Jeff Groover put me onto a long time ago, like when he was repping AJ Fernandez. He came in the shop and he's like, you got to try this. There's, it's an older company, but they're coming out with some really new blends, some really fancy stuff. And I said, sure, why not? And I tried them and fell in love with them all over again. And the one that I have is I think 7.5 inch.
No, you sat on it.
It's a 7.5 inch by a 52 or 54 box press ring gauge.
Thank you for sharing, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a pepper bomb, and it's because I've let it sit, for 6 years and change. It has become a lot spicier, which I love anyway. So the flavors have opened up. It's not as heavy as it used to be, which I don't mind. I don't mind the medium to medium full because it has so much spice in it. It has so much pepper. It has so much flavor to it that it's okay that it's not as strong. What's going on, bro?
Phone's just ringing.
I didn't even know you had ringtones.
Was that the theme from
Narcos?
I thought.
His Connect just crossed the border to Florida, so you gotta get ready to receive freight, as it were.
I understand. Do what we got to do.
Carry on.
Sheriff Forrest, what is your first cigar of the day?
I had something. One shot wouldn't kill. Well, the rest of a one shot wouldn't kill that I was smoking last night.
Okay.
But it was only a little bit of it. What I'm smoking now is actually Stag Lee, Daughters of the Wind. I had one more of these just sitting in there, and I was thinking about buying at least 4 more, or maybe depending on the box. Because I don't know, when I smoked this, I had a half in, half out love for it. I liked it, but it didn't stick out enough to make me want to buy a box, so I might just buy 4 more. So I was smoking it today to figure out how I felt about it.
What is this sport we're watching?
Handball, isn't it?
I don't know.
Handball is outside.
Yeah, I mean, they out here. Yeah.
I mean, essentially, they're just like walking around with a ball and trying to throw it in the goal.
Yeah, it's almost like bocce, but with
pushing each other. Yeah. So.
It's like lacrosse without a stick.
No, it's the light skinned version of rugby.
What?
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what that is supposed to mean. I don't even know if that's an insult or if that's...
It's an insult. It means that you guys are soft.
Does it mean that it has more technicality in it?
No, it means
Does it
more
mean
feminine.
that it's a little
That's
bit
all.
smarter individuals need to be able to do it?
Definitely not that either. Nope. You're missing the mark on all your assumptions, sir.
Moving along, I fired up the 2014 Davidoff Dominicana, which I have gifted to each of you fine gentlemen, so enjoy at your leisure.
Yes, I'm going to smoke this tomorrow morning with my cup of pilon. And I don't know what I'm going to eat tomorrow. Shit, I don't even know what I'm going to eat today. So I also want to say shout out to Cigar Adrian, who is the head of Cigar Pornography, Orlando. Great young lady, very knowledgeable about cigars. We have a few of the same favorite cigars. She's got some great taste. And we're excited because soon she'll be on the show, and we'll have some some new things coming up with the show and with Cigar Porn as well, to kind of bridge the gap, as it were.
Yeah, because the gap needed to be bridged. Our previous experiences.
So we had to wait for somebody else to come along.
Have lacked consistency, and because we try to be all about consistency, it's nice that she is going to be our point of contact moving forward.
And so consistency is key.
It is. Because we're not here for fucktology.
I knew it was coming.
So got to do that.
So while Stephen is scrolling through Grindr, Art and I are going to talk about this Series N that I gifted you guys.
Yeah, man.
Probably one of my all-time favorite cigars. Had this box aging for about 2 years. I bought 2 more boxes in the past 3 months, so they're now aging, and this one got moved to the everyday smoking humidor. One of the neatest things about this cigar is the actual cigar box. It's an octagon, a red octagon, and the sticks are stacked like X's. So you have 5 one way, 5 the other way, all the way up the box. Bright red, fire engine red box, gold lettering on it. And this Series B is you just gotta smoke it. I don't even want to give you my personal thoughts about it. I think it's just one of those cigars that you just need to smoke and have the experience yourself and enjoy that experience.
You said Series B? Mine's a Series N.
Oh, Series N, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Because I just brought the box up, just checking that. Yeah, that's that Ferrari red.
Yeah, man,
that's sharp.
Beautiful.
That's sharp.
Have you had these in the humidor long, or?
Yeah, this box has been sitting for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And I literally just cracked the seal on that one. But the other 2 boxes are now in the aging humidors. I took the cellophane off of them and left them sealed and just threw them in. So that will be the probably in the next 3 or 4 years I'll open that up. Hopefully it takes me that long to smoke this box. I'm pretty sure it won't.
How long is
pitch black Oscuro wrapper on this bad boy? Coming at you.
Laguna Cabana, they don't make a lot of different lines, do they? It seemed like they kind of just they had the same lines they've kind of always had, and they've added maybe 2, I think.
I mean, that's true. I think their testament is that they just have an amazing line, and they don't have to be on the cusp of reinventing things.
Yeah.
They can literally just say, you know what, we're just going to stick with what we know. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's some brands out there that have 1,200 different lines.
Yeah, and it's just pointless.
Yeah, they just don't. They've got the Charlemagne and some of the others out there, but and obviously the Series B, the Series R, the Series N. So you got some good stuff to choose from in any case. So shout out to
And I think their big thing too is they are one of the older cigar companies.
Yeah.
They have their market. They're not looking to necessarily expand it per se. They're just looking to continue
to make the same thing, keep the consistency going.
Consistency, again, we go back to it.
Because most of their cigars, they haven't changed very much.
No.
And that's the one thing I do. I just hate it, and I think because they don't create so much new stuff, I think that because if you do look in the lounge or any of your shops, you always see them like way in the back somewhere.
I like that.
And it's great because it gives the age.
Because nobody knows about them, so it's like these cigars have probably been aging in this humidor at their shop for 3 to 4 years, if not more, so it's great. And when I see stuff like that, I always ask, like, do you have other boxes in the back? Because they always have back stock.
Yeah.
So,
because that stuff has got to be, that's what I usually like about certain lines like that, because if it's already a decent cigar, and it's just been sitting there and no one's been buying it, it's been naturally aging, because it's just been sitting on the shelf, like the 3000 Padrones and stuff like that.
Oh, God, yeah. That 1000 line series.
Like
the Lot 23s.
They always say, that's why I've always told people that's like an ancient secret only amongst people who smoke a lot.
That, and another cigar that when I went to the Perdomo warehouse in Miami about 4 years ago, on my last trip, I always visit there. When I go down to Miami, I always stop there. I found they had their last box of the Cuban Bullet Maduro, and that is probably one of the best Perdomo cigars I've ever had, other than the I loved that Maduro Bugatti that they had. Even actually the natural was very good and creamy. But there are just some cigar lines that they have perfected their art, and they're not looking to go above and beyond. They're not looking to make new waves in the industry as it is. That's their staple, and they know they have a certain market, and they're sticking to that market. The only thing I have a problem with is not with the manufacturing companies, but with cigar smokers who get into this rut and they're like, this is my favorite cigar. I have like 50 favorite cigars. I don't have one cigar. I can't just go into a shop and say, oh, I'm just going to buy this box. This is the only cigar I'm ever going to smoke no matter where I go. Like, I think just like wine, just like spirits, you have to expand your palate, because you smoking the same cigar for 20 years, you can't really get anything out of it.
No,
not fun.
and you bastardize and deaden your palate too to other experiences. Yeah. And a lot of times I've found that that whatever my favorite cigar is of the moment is based on my mood, what's going on in my life at the time. It might change for the holiday season, for example.
Exactly.
Or I might go to a wedding or something like that, and somebody will give me one and like, we'll rock this for a little bit. But I'm constantly trying to change up my palate, not necessarily to find favorites, but to find, to your point, a series of things that I like to enjoy at any given moment. So that is also important too. And we talked about this when it comes to alcohol too. Same thing with the spirits that we prefer. Whether it's the different variations of the Uncle Nearest brand. And I got an update for you too on that. Or as you saw the other day when I saw all those bottles of Bro Brothers at Sam's Club. So so Tom asked me Wednesday if we wanted to go to Shelbyville now that he's got that the Sprinter van pimped out and customized. So, but he's talking about wanting to go within the next month, because apparently he's going to be headed to his spot in North Carolina for a while. So I said I would run that by you too, so we can take that offline and discuss it. But he's like, yeah, we'll get a driver or have somebody drive us up there and hit it. So maybe we can get schedules and see if we can figure that out. But we got to make a visit. I saw Fawn Weaver's schedule. She posted it on her Instagram page. She is definitely on the move. She is the hardest working woman in the spirit game right now. But unfortunately, Orlando wasn't on one of the cities that she's visiting. But such is.
So I also saw that Bro Brothers is now in the ABC wine stores.
Oh, about time.
in
What kind of price?
in other
Aren't
cities.
they? Oh yeah, you said
They haven't gotten
they're
it
in
here.
what's name?
They're here in Total Wine, but in the
And,
ABC Liquor,
Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
mhm,
Yeah.
So
But
that's a good thing too.
it's
And
the
then-
same price. It's still at $27.99.
I know,
which is
so reasonable.
like I'm literally thinking about buying a couple cases because I know in the next 6 months that stuff's gonna go up.
Oh yeah.
The stock in
Well,
it is just.
you never know because given what their brand model kind of is, how they make it, they may not necessarily push it up because now it just means that they're going to have more that they can get rid of. It
And-
may not cost them much.
And I don't really know what their quote unquote target demographics are. Are they trying to go after the high end crowd, or are they just trying to get in?
that's what they
They're
want
just trying to get in and stay
If you
in.
watch their
price point may
interviews-
stay where it is for a while.
Their
So,
interviews or the stuff that they put out in public is just like our demographic is just common drinkers. It's not high end. They don't seem to be trying to make a high end liquor. Matter of fact, that was one of the things that the one brother says that we could have came out with a more
Yes,
higher end.
this is handball. Yeah.
But what we chose to do is go with something that was more generally marketed, where anybody can enjoy it and they can afford it. So I don't think they will. They might make another line that's more expensive, but I think they're just trying to get this one to be able to get everywhere it can first.
And I was reading a story yesterday on Facebook, and that's why I said this, because they had a car accident outside of their distillery, and one of their members is they're all ex-military, but this guy got in a car accident and was stuck in the car and needed to get out, and one of the brothers happened to be at the distillery and, ran over and assisted the guy and got him out, and got him out of harm's way, got him to a safe space, and then the ambulance arrived. And they called the ambulance at the distillery because, it's in an area where it's not a lot of population. It's kind of like a manufacturing side of town, so
So I have to say it. So he truly is.
he's a hero.
He truly is his brother's keeper.
He is. And that's literally what they were saying. They were like, this is about taking care of each other.
Plus, they don't want that lawsuit.
Well, no.
I mean, that's his fault. You wrecked.
But it was just an amazing story of, especially in the day and age we are where people are scared to help other people.
Yeah, because
Because
people
of that.
sue you.
Yeah.
Just trying to help them.
And he just saw somebody that needed help and didn't think twice about what are the ramifications of this, or is this person going to turn around and try to do me bad or try to take money from me, or, he just said, nope, there's somebody in trouble,
Let me try
and
to.
I'm going to help them.
Yeah, and we need more of that. So, and it's sad that right now we're in a point in our country where a lot of that is going away. It seems like when somebody attacks this country, or when there's a natural disaster, then we put all this shit aside, but and
then it
come
goes right
together.
back to normal.
Then it goes right back to I don't know you like that, you know. So
But you need to learn.
yeah, because
If you don't know me like that, try to figure it out.
yeah, because I mean, if I'm in some scrape, I would hope somebody would take the time to help me out, and
Absolutely.
and I've certainly done it for other people. So, but no, that's good. That I didn't know. So,
Yeah.
and if we're ever able in a position to get them on the podcast, that's definitely one of the things I would want to discuss and highlight.
Absolutely.
Because it's not just good alcohol, good cigars,
It's just good people.
good weapons, but yeah, the common denominator's got to be the good people behind it. So, gots to be.
Mo.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you doing all the way up there, homie?
Because they're losing by 10 points, so
They trying to do a full press.
Yeah, almost like in hockey when you pull the goalie. So,
They learn today.
Denmark is putting it on them.
Putting that work on them.
they really are.
Is it me or do the goalies look like big losers?
They look like failed soccer goalies.
They do, because the way they try to block, it just does not look effective at all.
Like this dude in his black and white shoes looks like he's playing in house slippers. This guy's killing it.
I like how they be running though. That
Yeah.
should be tripping me out because
Like it's
he's
a full court
hustling.
basketball,
Yeah.
like a 5-on-5 game.
it
pickup
really
game.
is.
Yeah.
Ooh, they are not playing.
Sub, they need to take him out, bro.
He is getting beat down.
See, this is a sport where you need a fat motherfucker.
Look at that work he put in. See, being tiny did not
You
help
need a
him.
fat motherfucker for that.
You need a big old dude.
For those listening, we are watching Olympic men's handball. This is Japan versus Denmark.
You really don't realize how many sports you find interesting until you watch the Olympics.
And Denmark is just killing them.
That's like curling. I didn't
Yeah.
think curling was interesting.
Curling
until I sat
is
down. I was like,
amazing.
man, this is some good
I
shit.
could sit and watch that forever.
You need fuego.
Oh yeah, speaking of, we were talking about the Laguna Cabana. The crazy thing is that while like the American lines have been kind of like, sitting in the back shelf, that Spanish limited edition is blown up. Remember, over maybe a year and a half ago, I was talking about buying some. They were only $70 a box. They're almost like $300 a box now. Like, it's insane because there's only so many of them out there.
Yeah,
and they didn't do a high production of them. So if you didn't get them back then,
you snooze.
Good luck.
You lose.
Good luck on getting a box now.
Which is why, like, when my favorite manufacturers come out with limited edition blends, I'm like, I will buy a stick, but I'll sit in the store and smoke it. Yeah. Because if I really like it, I'm going to ask for the rest of that box or a freshly sealed box.
Yeah,
I did that last night with the Rat.
Oh, yeah. That Unico series.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's so funny. Like, the whole Unico series is literally in my favorites. Like, I love them all.
And I picked up the Zeno Orlando series, too.
Oh, okay. I see you.
Yeah.
Did you pick up some of those Romeo and Julietas that the Milwaukee Bucks were smoking?
I did not.
You did not.
I did not.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get some of those. But that was interesting.
Were those Cuban or were those?
No.
I know.
And I think those are actually like Reserva Reals, so they weren't even.
That's what I was thinking.
I was looking at the box.
And the Reserva Real is like, that stick is
like a very
$5.50, $6 stick.
Yeah, so. But hey,
no shade against them, just saying.
No, they celebrating. That was their focus. So
when Miami wins, you get Padrones.
Yeah, you get Padrones.
They're gonna open the door like, hey.
When the Miami opens, they get, and they don't get 1,000 line series. They get 80th Maduro.
Yeah, or when the Lakers win, that's what they get. And then when the Bulls were winning with Jordan, of course, they were getting those Partagas. So, but no, hey, they fired him up, so it was still good to see. So, and I'm sure that should be a nice boon in business for Romeo and Julieta.
Oh, you can only imagine now, bro. You can only imagine.
Yeah.
It's going to be in every juke joint in Milwaukee.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
It's not a terrible cigar.
No, it's not. It's just,
I'm more of a fan
of the cigar. So.
I'm a bigger fan of the Cuban side than the American side. So it's all right though. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't smoked too many of them. I've smoked that many of them, but I haven't smoked continuously too many of those on the
it's a very mild stick. It has a little bit of cream, not a lot. It's not like the Monte Cristo white label or anything like that.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, I smoked one of those because I think I had one before, and I kept hearing you talk about it, and I was like, I don't even remember what it tastes like.
Oh,
like
the Monte White
series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't even remember what this tastes like. So I bought one here, and I was smoking. I was like, oh, this is really good. It's really creamy. Like it's
and
very.
The ones in the glass tube, they're even better. And those only come in like a box of 15, but it's a phenomenal stick. They're like $10 a piece. So that's another good box that you can just age. Like I would buy like 5 sticks and then buy a full box that's sealed, and then age that box. Those really add some great flavor, some great. The profile of the cigar changes with a significant amount of age, probably that 2 to 3 year age mark. It gets it just opens up a lot more. And it's not just your regular mild cigar anymore. It kind of goes to that mild to medium, and it definitely has some good floral notes and some good cream on it.
I have to try some more of it because I never was a big fan of Monte Cristo. So I mean, the ones that I had, I didn't really care for, and it wasn't that they were bad. It was just they were, some cigars they just taste like a cigar. It's just not a particularly wonderful taste. Yeah, a bad one. It's just nothing special about it. So I just never smoked them.
There's certain lines where there's just certain cigars that you like from that line, like the number 2, for example. That's gotten a lot of the hype over the years, and some of their others. But yeah, the white label, it is a good smoke. So and it's kudos to you for deciding to rediscover that.
Yeah.
So, because it's easy to get in ruts, as we were discussing earlier.
Oh yeah, it's very easy to find a cigar you like and to just continually go to that cigar.
Yeah.
And the reason there are so many different manufacturers is because there are so many different palettes.
Yep.
And you don't know, and I will tell you, I was one of those guys that, in the beginning, I'm like, I'm not smoking that. But you don't know until you actually try it. And then you get opened up to some things, like I said, the acid line, the infused cigars, I was not a fan of that. And it was only because, people always said, oh, those are women's cigars, or those are for beginner cigar smokers. And it's like, not every day do I want to smoke a spicy stick or a heavy stick, or, sometimes I want that balance. I want something milder. I want something a little sweeter. I want something infused, just to change my palate up and to enjoy a new cigar or new notes from a cigar. So.
Yeah, I mean, a cigar, oftentimes it could just get a tart flavor to it, and you can just be so used to smoking that.
Because I remember when I first gave you that Partagas 1845 with Squirrel, you first
looked at you like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, like you were about to kick me in the throat. But but you trusted me, and
hey, I will be the first one to admit that is. Again,
no, I was the same way, because when I looked at it, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like this. But I didn't really think, and I kind of. My thing is, if you give me a cigar that's free, unless I know for a fact that particular cigar I don't like it, or I already have it, or I don't think I will make myself smoke it, I'll just try it. Just because if you feel the need to give it to me, I'm at least try it.
Yeah.
The only thing I will really turn my head to and be like, nah, you can keep that, is if it's something I know that's way too spicy for my palate, or it's infused. And it's not because I don't like infused, it's that I'm very weird about infused cigars. And
an infused cigar can also switch up your palate too.
Yeah, it definitely does.
And then when you go
your
back
palate down.
And you go back to something else that you normally smoke, it's different. So
and it's not that they're bad for me. It's just for some reason I just don't like the taste anymore. And I know, and most of the ones that people are going to give me, I've had them before, and I know distinctly what they taste like.
And it goes to that, like how I am when I say I'm only going to smoke one cigar today. Like there's one cigar that there are a couple cigars that I'll say, okay, I can smoke this cigar and be good for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like, my Padrones, some of my Unico series, like I could smoke a cigar at 7 o'clock in the morning with coffee on the patio, and I have no need for another cigar. Part of it is because the cigar is so rich and good that I just don't want to lose that flavor throughout the day. But the other part is...
look at the swirl.
Wow. I mean, it just seems like it's like more and more now.
It's very prevalent now.
Especially when they advertise them. They advertise it hard. It's like they leaning too hard.
Reminds me of the 90s group, BBD.
Big Black.
ABC, BBD.
Anyway, go back to what I was saying. No, it's one of those things where, like, with the flavored cigars, like, you smoke that and it coats your palate. Yeah. I mean, it really does. Like, you got to go brush your teeth, drink a can of Coke, wash your mouth out. Like,
and it kind of makes me nauseous too.
Okay. I haven't had that experience. Yeah.
Well, and it's not
like the Legends.
Yeah.
Like that cigar, it just it permeated everything.
Some of them, it just makes me, if it's too fruity, it'll just make me nauseous, and I won't feel good. And
that's
I don't
like
feel
the Tatiana Groovy Blue. Like that's one of those cigars that. It kind of smells like a box of Fruit Loops.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Too rich.
Those Tantianas, I cannot do that.
People enjoy them. They're really good cigars.
Especially a fruit flavor. If it's like, for me, infused, it has to be like coffee, or it has to be like vanilla.
I can even do something that's like a bourbon.
Oh yeah,
infused.
Something like that. That's
fun. Then I noticed when I was in Cuba, one of the things that they'll do is they'll have honey sitting out, and then they'll dip the tip in honey.
Well, that's the part that people don't understand. Like people in the States, they think that infusing a cigar means like, oh, I'm going to infuse it with Hennessy, and they dip the whole cigar in there and they let it dry out. Like all you do is you literally take. No, you don't even do that. You take a little shot glass, you fill it halfway up with whatever you want, and then you sit it in that humidor and close it.
Oh yeah, I was telling somebody else about that.
That's the true infusion of a cigar.
Yeah.
Who was I telling?
Because you have those notes that get out, they get into the air, and the box is sealed.
I was telling Rupert about that.
Yeah.
Because I was telling him that if you want to, because my humidor, the one that I keep my temporary stuff in, it was infused by. I bought some Don Collins cigars from Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, the gentleman that makes the cigar I really, really like passed away a few years ago. But when they make their cigar, they lay the leaf itself in rum, and before it dries, they roll it.
Yeah.
So it has that weird crystallized, looks like a blunt practically, but it's a full size, it's like a 52 gauge cigar. When you leave them out, it smells like honey. It's like honey and vanilla. It's like almost a infused smelling cigar, but it does not taste like an infused cigar at all. So when you see when you see it in my when it was sitting in my humidor, it sat in the humidor for like 6 months straight without being touched. Like it just sat there, and it went through, and it was the first set of cigars that humidor had ever had. My humidor still smells like those cigars.
Oh yeah, it's not going
So
anywhere.
it's not going anywhere, and that's what I was telling him. I was like, it's nothing wrong with adding flavor to it. You can put things in your humidor and let it absorb through the cedar, and it'll stay in there, and it will interact with your new cigars. And
But you also have to understand that you can't, when you're doing that, you can't necessarily put regular unflavored or uninfused cigars, because those cigars will
take that
character and build it into your cigar, and it may be for the good, but more than not, it's for the bad. It kind of changes the whole flavor profile.
I'll say that it's a hit or miss in regards to how it affects your cigars, because mine particularly, and given before I never really kept a lot of cigars in a humidor, it didn't really bother them that much, but now that I keep a lot of them in there, it actually, to me, adds a characteristic I like about them. And I think because it's a subtle flavor that's left on that humidor, and keep in mind, this was like 10 years ago that those cigars were in there. Like the last time one of those cigars had been in that box was probably about 9 years ago. And it just adds an extra coat into it. And the crazy thing is when you re-season the cigar, a humidor, it comes back strong.
So I will tell you, my tip for that, and I found out just experimenting, is baking soda. Don't sprinkle it in the actual humidor, but again, put it in the saucer or put it in the cup. And just like how you use those, you use the baking soda beads to pull out moisture, like out of the washroom, things like that. It does the exact same thing. So it'll pull all of the moisture out of the wood and allow you to go ahead and re-season it again without having that last flavor in it.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things that you got to do. It's one of those things you got to do. It's my boy,
Clay Davis, The Wire.
But it's one of those things you got to do, and you got to do that a couple of times over the space of like 2 to 3 months to make sure that you get to make sure that wood is, because you open it up, you over humidify it with like a 75 pack, so the wood is really, really humidified and wet almost, not to the touch, but it's wet. And then you put that baking soda in, and the baking soda starts to pull all the moisture, and as it's pulling the moisture out, it's also pulling those flavors and those chemicals and that infusion out as well. But that's why you have to do it, like I said, you got to do it, over the space of 2 or 3 months. You got to do it a couple times to get everything out of there.
So that means there's no distilled water in there at all.
No, you're going to hydrate it with like a Boveda 75, so super hydrated in there, and all the wood has soaked up all that humidity. And then you leave it in there for like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, and then you put a saucer in there with baking soda. And then leave it in there for a couple weeks, throw that baking soda out, put another set in there on that saucer, and just keep doing that for about 3 months, and then you'll have...
So it's just the baking soda and the Boveda, just leave them in there.
So it kind of like, it resets,
kind of balances
take the
themselves.
Boveda out.
Okay, take the Boveda out.
Leave it in there for about 2 or 3 weeks so that it really gets saturated, and there's really 75 degrees humidity in there, and that wood, the pores in that wood are open. And then you take that Boveda pack out, put it in a Ziploc bag so it doesn't go old or dry out, and then you put the baking soda in, and the baking soda just starts to pull all the moisture out. So it's going to pull, the wood pores are already open, so everything that's in there is going to be ready to come out.
Gotcha.
So
now, what's your philosophy on, and I've heard people talk about this, taking dry Boveda packs and putting them in the freezer to rehydrate them?
I don't
for
think
me,
it really works.
Once a Boveda pack is dried out,
Because it's like,
I've tried
it's like hard
rehydrating it,
candy.
yeah, once a Boveda pack is dried out, I mean, and it's scientifically created to do that. It's supposed to dry out.
Yeah.
Once it dries out and completely hardens, it's trash to me.
Done.
Like,
You can put it in. You can literally leave it in there with water, and it's not going to come back. I can tell you from personal experience. I have tried it. It
and they're
does not come back.
inexpensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the pack for the 25 cigar pack is $4 for a packet. I mean, it's not like it costs you 25 or $30 for each packet. So, and then those packets, depending on how many cigars you have and the size of your humidor, you got them, they're good for, 3 months, sometimes 6 months, depending. So, you don't have to, like, when I changed my, when I added the big Boveda, the 320 gram to the new humidor, the stand-up humidor.
And not unattractive either.
Art's on the hunt again.
Alex Morgan, man. great soccer player.
And I used the little ones, the packages, small box, the envelope size ones.
Yep.
And I threw about 6 of them in there because once I threw all the cigars in there, it started running low a little bit. So I just dropped some new ones in it, and it rose back up to 68.5, and then I threw some more cigars in there. You saw it's like at 63 right now. But I put 2 more Boveda packs in there, so by the end of the week, I put the bigger ones. But by the end of the week, probably by Tuesday, I think, the humidity should be back to about 68.5 or so.
Yeah, I mean they'll if they're getting kind of like rocky, you can probably if they're getting a little bit rocky and you start feeling like sediment in it, you can put them with something to hydrate them. But even then, they're not going to come back anymore back to that straight liquid form.
So it's not worth it. It's not worth freezing.
You might as well just leave it in there with whatever it's in there and let it die and get another one.
Because the cheap man's version is distilled water and a paper towel.
That's what I used to use.
Or orange peel.
Yes, you mentioned that before too.
And orange peel will not, when it hydrates, but it won't give off that citrus smell or taste to your cigar. So your cigar won't pick that citrus note up, but it will pick up the humidity and the moisture from that orange peel. So,
porous.
But that paper towel thing, and if people don't, that's a real thing that will really work.
As long as you don't use regular water.
Yeah, you got to use distilled water.
You got to use distilled water, so there's nothing in it.
Yeah, I would, if you have to, you just better watch it.
But here's the thing, you don't have to, because a gallon of distilled water is 99 cents.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, what if you somewhere you can't get distilled water? I mean, I know in most places, but I'm only saying that because when I was in Afghanistan, I had to use regular water. I didn't have a choice. And it works. Like, you put some water in that paper towel, like, I've had cigars that were dry, and it brought them right back. And the thing is, with that water, if you make it wet but not damp, what it'll do is it almost gets to that point.
Drip.
It can't drip. You got to almost be able to squeeze it without water coming out of it. But if it has that dampness, the good thing is that paper towel lets you know how dry or how moist it is, and it always gets to that one limit and it can't go past it because it's just not enough moisture there to take it. It's either going to suck it all dry, or it's not going to be needed, so it stays in a paper towel. And so it gives you that even balance of hydration.
And for you novices out there, so you know the difference, distilled water is water that has been boiled into vapor and condensed back into liquid in a separate container. The impurities in the original water that do not boil below or near the boiling point of water remain in the original container. Thus, distilled water is a type of purified water.
And that's to be sure, just to let you guys know, that does not mean that when you boil water and then you use that boiled water, that's distilled water. It has to vaporize. It turns into the vapor, and in the survival way to do it, where I was taught to get water, if you're in a place where you can't get fresh water, you take salt water or whatever water you can find, boil it, you put something against it, as it comes and it condenses on that material, and the steam falls down into water. That's drinkable water. So that would be your distilled water.
Just think Bismarck Key, the vapors.
And the way to do your humidor that way would be to get the gallon-sized Ziploc bags. You fill it up about halfway to 3/4 with cigars. You get a Ziploc sandwich bag. You wet your towel, you put it in there, and then you're going to close it. You're going to leave about probably 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch of space unsealed. Because you don't want to leave that whole thing unsealed.
No.
So you leave a little bit unsealed, and then you put it standing up against the cigars inside the bag, and then you close the Ziploc bag. And if you ever see condensation on your big Ziploc bag, you're doing it wrong. So you got to take it out. You got to squeeze some of that water out. And honestly, I would just take that humidification pack of the Ziploc bag out and seal those cigars back, put them in a warm place, not a hot place, not in direct sunlight, and leave a little bit of that Ziploc bag open so that some of that humidity can escape, the cigars can dry out, and then you can redo it.
Just think about when you're out in the environment, when you're outside, the places that you, not hot, not sun heat, but the places you feel that warmth and that stickiness is usually somewhere where the temperature is able to go up, but you're not getting direct sunlight.
Harder?
You use mine. You want to, or you use it's a torch.
Mike B is in the lounge with us. Mike, come on over here for a second. Get your ass up and come on over here for a second.
I already told him to come over here. He left, and I was like,
man,
come on here, join us.
So, what are you smoking these days? What was your folks' first smoke of the day today? Speaking to the mic so the folks can hear you.
Cohiba,
Which one?
the Dominicana.
Oh, check
that's a
you
very
out.
good song.
All right. So I always, when I see him, I tend to ask Mike what he's smoking because he's always smoking something interesting. And he has this great habit. He keeps basically almost like a log of what he smokes, and he puts a happy face on something that he enjoys and that he likes. So
I got to give him the.
That's pretty good.
I got to give you my cigar guidebook.
Okay.
It's a Word document that you can put in where you got the cigar, the price of it, all the manufacturer's details, and unless you keep notes, and then you just save it, and then now you have a document for that cigar. So you can have I have a whole file of all my personal reviews of cigars, so that if I forgot how it tasted, I go back to that and open it up and say, I gotta start doing this. This is something I want to try again. So.
Yeah, I'd like to get a copy of that.
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
fun.
And what are you drinking these days from a spirits perspective?
Oh,
What's been on your palate lately?
I'm not a big drinker, to be honest with you.
Okay, fair enough. All right, goodbye. Stress down. Party
Wow.
over. But thank you for stopping by. Mike knows I love him. We just mess with him, so it's always nice when he's in here. So it's a good man right there.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Yes.
And we haven't really talked about it very much, but anything in particular new in regards to you guys and guns?
Not me, actually. But you know, one of the things that Cigar Snob and I have talked about is me bringing the Glock S30 in here one day so we can break it down, clean it, and make sure we get that recorded. You going to press record on that so we can show the folks how to do that?
I got it today.
All right. So we'll set that up so you can bring the equipment in so we can show those. For proper gun maintenance is important because you got to be able to, just like you keep your other gun clean, you got to keep this one clean too. So this is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, and this is for fun.
Yeah, that'll be good, and then I can bring in some of the weaponry, as you call it.
Yeah, the weaponry. That's
bring
right.
That Chris Vester.
Woo! That's a party.
That Live Free Armory 300 Blackout.
Yep.
The SIG AR. The Judge. The 410 shotgun shells, of course.
Well, we always keep a judge on premises.
Oh yeah, always.
Because somebody who the local tobacconist here is always keeping the judge on premises.
Yes.
So we got no problems there.
Do you Pernell, do you actually like the AR platform, or is the AR platform just now that it's so accessible, that's why you have an AR?
The reason I like the AR platform so much is because that's what I learned on it. 18, joined the military, learned on the M16, then learned on the then trained on the M4 once those came out.
As always, appreciate your service, both of you.
Thank you for your support.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those platforms that I like. I think it's hardy. It's been battle tested, literally. So it's one of those things that I've just got accustomed to.
Yeah, I mean the mass shooters love the reliability.
Like the weapon that I hate the most is the Beretta M9.
Why is that?
Beretta M9.
Not the remix of them recently, but because that was always the weapon for the medic. So we got trained on M16s and M4s, but your actual sidearm was the Beretta 9mm. And I don't know, it's just something about that particular handgun.
I've always
is it reliability, is it accuracy, is it feel?
I think it's accuracy.
Okay.
And I can shoot that, and I'm okay. I've never qualified expert with that weapon. I've qualified expert in every other weapon that I've used for the military.
Qualified.
But I've never gotten expert with the Beretta M9. I've shot other pistols in the same testing scenario and haven't missed a target.
Yeah, see, that's like the opposite of me. I'll actually shoot it better, and I'm actually better with a rifle than I am with a pistol, but for whatever reason, I shoot expert with the Beretta. Yeah, and I find it to be, now when it comes to it as a pistol, I think that I see that people are it's easier to make people good at shooting with it compared to maybe some other pistols. But I've never had any issues with and when people say they don't like it, I never really understand why they don't like it, because to me, it's a sidearm. It really isn't, you're not trying to be surgical with it. You really just, hey, I don't have anything else right now, and this is what I have left.
Well, see, and that's my problem. Like, as a medic, yes, you're trained to be a soldier first and then a medic second, but I want something that I know is going to get the job done. It doesn't matter if it's 3 meters or 100 meters. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't have the time, especially if I'm patching somebody up and everything. I don't have the time to now take my sidearm out because it's a lot harder to aim with a sidearm.
No, way harder than
than it is with an AR. So for me, it's just the ease of it. You know, being able to still handle it in a combat situation and not have to worry about it. What the fuck are you listening to?
You over there making all kind of noise. It's all kind of noise. And the only reason why I asked that is because what is this?
It's training day. You know I'm surgical with this bitch, Jake.
So like my thing is, the only reason why I say that is because everybody likes ARs, and I know like in regards to gun policy, which I think is hilarious, is that they have this obsession with taking the AR platform away from civilian populations. But to me, it's like I don't find it personally to be the most effective rifle on the market. I just think it's just the most accessible one, and it's the one that everyone kind of knows. But I mean, you got a lot of stuff out there. Like to me personally, if I were to pick a gun, I would go. I mean, you can't get them here, but Glio, G36. I mean, what 35? Any AK, because I mean, I've always liked the AKs.
Well, AKs to me, that's one of those weapons that you have to upgrade.
Yeah.
You can't. I don't see how you can fall in love with a stock AK. I just don't.
It just doesn't look sexy.
It's not even, and honestly, it's not even the aesthetics of it.
I don't think that I even had a problem with a stock AK in regards to shooting it. It's just, to me, I think there's a learning curve with AKs. That's the only thing that I could say.
The accuracy learning curve is ridiculous.
You know what I mean?
Truly, like but think about it, when you get trained. Like my first shooting experience was in the military, so I got trained on an M16 and an M4. So learning how to shoot that and be proficient in that is a lot easier. And
it's way easier.
And when you now go to a different style,
you go and with a piston-driven, and it has a lot more. And the only thing I will say is it has a lot more kick to it. It's a bigger round, first of all.
Well, yeah,
and it has a lot more kick to it. But to me, I think it's an effective weapon. I just don't. I think that when it comes to shooting, and that's the reason why when people don't understand why people want to use AR as a home protection weapon, it's very effective at protecting because it's very easy. You can give a kid that gun and they can shoot effectively.
Well, I mean, to that effect, so are proximity mines. I mean,
good point.
We can say they weren't, but explosives. A little, maybe so much harder to control. You think?
Well, no. I mean, that's why you see my tow hitch. It's a Claymore mine. Like you just put it in the direction you want it to blow up, and that's what happens. Like it has a concentrated blast of a specific area. So just make sure you're behind it and not in front of it, and
you're good to go.
You're safe.
But I don't think I really need a proximity mine for a Claymore.
Why not?
I don't. I don't want to destroy my shit.
When the zombie apocalypse comes, don't come asking for none of mine. I'm not
have a zombie apocalypse,
stay ready so you can be ready.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a whole bunch of generators and put some treadmills around my house. Keep them moving.
You stupid.
Hey man, they can't get to the house. They can't get past the treadmill.
Man, I got the ultimate deterrent for all y'all. Put on a LaToya Jackson album. Ooh. Be like, oh no, we ain't gonna mess with this motherfucker.
Wow. Well, you just play some R. Kelly.
The feds just announced last night that they're going to drop more charges on him.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Why are we still talking about this guy? Why he ain't just in jail at this point?
Here's the thing. Why is he the only one targeted? That's my bigger thing.
Yeah, it's so many more.
There are so many. He was just sloppy with his. Because being in Chicago, he was out and about all the time with these young girls.
And
so
McDonald's.
It looks like he wasn't hiding.
At the drive-thru.
Yeah.
McDonald's, man.
And prior to the McDonald's, there was a girls' Catholic school. And he would just wait outside for the girls to get out of school.
Well,
he was a straight up predator.
The new charges are supposed to be 2 teenage boys.
I'm not surprised.
He moving to boys now.
That's what the new charges, the federal charges, are saying. That there's charges about 2 teenage boys.
That man got problems.
Yeah, he's just sick. That's all it is. He's a sick predator. So,
which goes to, people taking mental health very seriously.
yep.
The physical trauma can be a little easier to get over, but if you don't get the right mental health help, you're stuck in that kind of like barrel almost. Like you can't get to the top and get out.
And I'll be frank with you. I'm actually surprised that he's still alive, being as out and open as he is, because you have daughters, I have a daughter.
Yeah.
And somebody like that who's out in the open, I don't care how much money he has, how much protection that he has, you mess with the wrong person's child.
Well, see, and that's why
That's all I'm going to say.
the victims, he targeted a specific type.
Yeah.
He made sure that they were not financially free,
Vulnerable emotionally.
vulnerable, but he also made sure that their parents weren't best off financially either, so that it was easy to say, I'll give you this hush money, now sign this NDA and keep it moving, as Steven says.
Yeah.
So it goes to his mental well-being. Like, he thought that it was okay, and that these people, because of the situations they were in financially or economically, said, well, I'd rather take the money and do something with it than instead of filing charges and getting him off the street.
Yes, and they call that grooming, because not only was he grooming the victims, he was also grooming their families.
Exactly.
So, but that's next level sickness. That's straight hell, homie.
But it's just like you were saying before. I kind of find it weird because it's like there's not the only person that's out there doing that.
No,
Famous.
no.
Very
So why
he ain't the most
none
famous
of them?
person.
Yeah, none
No.
of them get called out. I mean, because they call it Holly Weird for a reason. Because
They
there's
sure
a
do.
lot of stuff that's going on that nobody's really aware of, or they don't even know is happening. That people in that environment are allowed to do because they are who they are.
Would you throw a Coke over here, please? The beverage, not the powder.
Just do it. Just pour a line. You scoop it up, pour a line. We're gonna do the whole bar table. There, I know I was gonna ask you because I know you mentioned it. Did you ever watch that not the documentary, but that biopic, Houghton, the designer, Halston?
Yes.
Did you not like that? That was so good.
That was incredible.
I watched that when I flew back home to go
Man.
visit my parents the first time. I did not know that much about him.
Me either. I didn't know he was.
I didn't know he's from Indiana.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know
he
that
was
either.
actually from like New York or something.
Man, this scene when they were playing Spring Affair by Donna Summer, when he walked in Studio 54
Yeah.
and saw his boy,
Yeah.
man, that was
wild,
crazy.
And people talk about how open people are now. Back in them days, they used to go to the clubs and they do stuff that you can't do that no more.
They were out in the open. One of the tales from the tour bus on Rick James, one of his keyboard players was saying that he was up in the VIP level at Studio 54, and this famous model, walked up to him and just looked at him, and he was like, "Can I help you?" And she goes, "Yeah, I want you." And so he's like, "All right." He's like, and he jokingly said, "All right, if you want me, put some cocaine on my dick and suck it."
I'm Rick James, bitch.
And she did right there on the spot in public. And he's like, and I was just a keyboard player.
I'm telling you,
That's
man.
how wild and crazy it is.
And they talk about like how bad it is, the society is now. It's like,
And you wonder why.
Look at Freaknik. Remember Freaknik back in the day?
Yeah.
That was
hot Atlanta.
Yeah.
It was going down in hot Atlanta.
Spring break, all that stuff.
and Texas.
It used to be wild, man. But the thing is, you didn't have the internet. You had to be in the know, and you had to be there. It couldn't just happen, and they recorded or anything like that. Everybody was just there. You show up to Studio 54 and you were there. Yeah. If you didn't go, then you weren't part of it. You didn't even know it was even happening.
Yeah. And it's amazing all that went on, considering that they only allowed certain people in there. Like the song "Freak Out" by Chic. Grace Jones invited them to Studio 54. They get to the door. They said, "We're guests of Grace Jones," and the bartender kept telling them, "Just fuck off." and that's how the song came about. They just changed "Fuck Off" to "Freak Out."
Mm-hmm.
So, but yep,
They was out there. But
They
that
were.
documentary, well,
It was good.
the biopic was very, very good.
yeah,
I like how and the thing is, it's crazy about that time frame that they're starting to do some of these in. It gives you a better picture of that time frame, because for somebody, especially my age, we only hear from what your dad or your mom or somebody said about it. You don't really get a real image of that, because I know I always heard about the studio and how crazy it was in there. And when they do a show on like History Channel, or not History Channel, but any of those shows where they're going to talk about the 54 and these people are famous and they're still relevant people,
Yep.
they don't really want to go in depth about what was going on. They
No.
just say, oh, it was a good time. We just all had fun.
Like what happens at the Playboy Mansion stays at the Playboy Mansion.
Even
correct.
the documentary,
especially in the grotto.
the documentary they did on the 54, they didn't really talk about what really happened there. They just talked about, oh, it was a free place where people just came and had a good time, and if you were in the know, you were somebody, you went there.
Yeah.
But they didn't talk about how people was getting backs blown out in the club and doing coke like they were.
And I didn't know that story about the person that died in the
I
duct.
didn't know that either.
And actually, they changed that because it was actually a guy. It wasn't a woman.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was. Yeah, but that was a good, very, very good documentary. If anybody hasn't seen it, check out the documentary on Halston. Even the process of when he designed that the bottle was interesting. And what else I always thought was interesting? The process that goes into creating a scent. How he kept having to meet with the person
always
that were
been a
bringing
big fan of that.
different scents and all that kind of stuff, and how to put a scent together. It reminded me a lot of what you went through, Saab, in terms of putting together your cigar blend. It takes time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm on season 4, episode 8 of Snowfall.
Isn't that good? Isn't it good?
Bro,
It's crazy, right?
And isn't it amazing? Old boy has that '90s LA accent down, considering he's British. Damson Idris. That's a good show.
A lot of Americans can't even do that.
who I really can't stand right now though,
Who that?
Man Boy.
Oh, you're going to really hate him later. He's going to get worse.
Yeah, just keep watching.
Yeah, he gets
Keep
worse.
watching.
But his sister is a G.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. For
His
sure.
sister took $1 million to bail the dude out just to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or probably 100,000 because his bail was $1 million.
Yep. Yep.
And then on top of that, then when put a hit out on everybody else.
Yeah.
And Franklin's mom is a G too.
Oh, I haven't seen that part yet.
Keep watching.
Well,
Keep watching. So
yeah,
that's-
Alton I can't stand either. I love when he got pistol whipped by his son. That was amazing.
he goes through different evolutions. You'll like him and you'll hate him, and then you'll like him again, then you'll hate him. So, yeah, but just keep watching, and shout out to the late great John Singleton.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So just genius work. So
'cause I'm like season 4. What else can you give me? The first 3 seasons are great,
keep watching.
and then I get into season 4, and I'm like, this shit just keeps getting better.
And the evolution, what they do with Wanda's character, oh man, just crazy.
You go from being pretty to being a
Oh, she was
fiend
fine
to
as hell.
being back
And them
to
lips.
almost normal now.
Them lips on Wanda, woo.
Yep.
Even that little
And then she gets shot in the drive-by. It gets wild. Wanted to go through it. She goes
does.
all the way through
She
it.
does.
even Louis fine as hell too.
She is. She's
man.
a true. Louis is a G.
Hey,
True, straight up. That's you want Louis on your side.
I'm waiting to see what unfolds in Little Rock.
Oh,
That seems interesting.
well, once they get there, now I'll say this: once they leave, nothing else happens out of that.
Oh,
At least in this season. But
Keep watching.
you can. But the thing is that if knowing the history, you already know how it's going to end down the road. Because essentially, that's just when everybody get on crack
cocaine,
at that point.
Yeah.
Because that's the funny thing about the show itself is that when you watch it and you watched a lot of history about it and you watch a lot of documentaries about it and you got a lot of perspective from people who lived in that time frame where they were an adult mind, you get to understand that even before they really admit to it, I think majority of the population knew there was more to it than just some dudes on the street trying to sell rock.
Well, yeah.
Like
You
it
couldn't
just
say
had to be a machine that made this happen
absolutely.
like this.
Yeah.
Because none of us were able
Funding
to be funded to do something like this that easily.
Yeah, you're funding a dirty war.
Because I mean, even in bootlegging was kind of a black sport too, for the most part, in regards to moonshine. They don't want to say it, but it was. And you see how little of the money we made out of it. I mean, think about it in NASCAR. NASCAR was a bunch of guys who used to run moonshine, but the thing is, you don't see black NASCAR drivers or the notoriety of black distillers. So like for this one particular thing to be almost a black sport itself, and it to be that powerful, to be able to move from coast to coast effectively, and literally, you think about it now, what city or state in the United States hasn't had a crack epidemic?
No.
There's no such thing as no one having one.
No.
To me, the beauty of it is taking something that was supposed to be quote unquote a designer drug and a high priced fancy drug and a luxury item, and taking it and cooking it down to its more baser form, and then turning it into what they turned it into. Like, yes, it's a drug and it's horrible and it ruined people's lives, but
you broke down something that will cost a lot of money to
the science of it.
Yep.
Of how they make, and I don't call it crack, I call it rock cocaine, because how they make it, it's a true science.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and to have the mindset to do that, like when he found it, where was it, in Oakland? Where did he find it at?
I think it was like
L.A.
Oh, was it L.A.?
L.A.
So to find it there, and then to now transfer it and take it into a whole nother level. I mean, you're talking about a dude who was going to college and they messed up his financial aid forms.
And he needed money.
But he's living in the projects.
Yeah.
And now going to be becoming the biggest drug dealer.
But also not even that. If you watch, even though it's loosely fact, but you watch Narcos, the last season of Mexican Narcos, they talk about how the Mexican cartel found out that they were making it in L.A. and they were showing them how they turned the powder into rock. And they didn't even know. Given that they're the one distributing this, they didn't even know people made it like this anymore. And then you can imagine, 4 black dudes walk in, L.A. guys, and they're like, yeah, let's show you how we take the cocaine and we turn it into rock. And they're looking like, what? And Mexicans are like, what are you talking about? It's like, cocaine's a rich man's drug. No, we break it down, we sell it to anybody.
Yes, sir.
And then even you think about it, like when you look at the offshoot or the byproduct of the whole cocaine process, there's a byproduct. It is probably 10 times more addictive than rock cocaine. But it's never been made into a drug because that's marketable, because they see the problem that it would cause.
Yeah.
And your market, once people find out how to do that process, you have no market anymore.
Yeah.
It's like marijuana's legalization. Once people found out that they can grow their own plants and they didn't have to go to a dispensary anymore, why do I need to? I mean, my plants are going to flourish in 45 to 60 days.
Marijuana plants are not hard to grow.
Right.
I mean, cross-pollinating and
again, science.
The science part of it is harder, but growing the plant itself is not that hard.
No. Nope. And you think about, it's going to take you, 4 to 6 months to have a smokable product as far as marijuana is concerned? That's nothing.
Just turn the game off. They need to stop. They are
45 to 28.
They are killing Japan right now.
Denmark.
I saw the goalie literally throw from one end and almost hit
saw that one.
And I was like, this is embarrassing. Stop pulling the goalie. Leave him in there. I don't think they're helping themselves by pulling the goalie every time.
I think they should just get another goalie too.
No, they switched out goalies.
They did. They already switched out one already.
Oh, so they're all garbage.
Yeah.
There's that.
It's just bad.
You know what you need to check out also on Netflix? It's called Somos.
Oh, I just started watching that.
Oh, man.
And that's based on a true story.
That's a true story.
What's that about?
It happened in 2011. The Zeta cartel in Mexico had a leak of intelligence that got back to the U.S. And instead of the U.S. doing anything about it, they alerted the Mexican military. And what the Mexican military did, they were all on the Zeta payroll. So they let the Zetas know what this intel was. And so what the Zetas did in terms of trying to find out who the leak was, they descended on one town, Allende, which is 40 miles south of Texas, and they literally killed
Everyone.
500 people in this one town. They literally wiped out an entire town.
About that.
They were burning bodies and everything. And then one of the things that they won't show in some is what they also did was they rounded up a bunch of the men and gave them swords and knives and told them to fight each other. Whoever survived would become a member of the Zeta cartel. So they literally had citizens killing each other.
Wow. In order to survive.
So there's still areas of that town 10 years later where there's still artifacts of shoes and jewelry of the people who got killed, but they literally wiped out an entire town. And as it turns out, the people that they were looking for, they only found a couple of them, but they literally wiped out 500 people in an entire town.
Yeah, it's nuts. But that's how cartels work. Cartels they're ruthless. They don't really care about who or what. They're survival mode. They're almost in a prison mindset.
Well, you got to look at it too. Like, you got to look at who they recruit. Like, even their hit squads and stuff. These people, these guys and girls, they start off like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's kind of like the kid soldiers in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what they also don't get into, which I read about later, doing some research on it, is that some of the women in the cartel, they're more ruthless than men. And you got these gorgeous women that will just up and kill you in a heartbeat. Not even nothing else.
Just think about Giselle Blanco. How many people did she kill in her lifetime?
And she had a knack of fucking people and then killing them. Yep.
And the thing is that her body count's so high, they don't even know how many.
Which one?
She's killed.
Yeah.
Her sexual body count or her actual?
Her actual killing body count.
Her actually killing body count.
They don't even know how many people she's responsible for killing.
Yeah, it's in the hundreds.
It's insane. Like one of her hitmen, they counted him like a couple hundred, and that's just him.
Yeah, Remy. Yep. And he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. She's dead, but he's alive.
Yeah, they killed her out of the country. So after she got out, 2 weeks after she got out of jail.
That's how you know you're that bad. That this happened a long time ago.
And we're still talking about it.
And you're still talking about it. And
it's
she just died how many years ago? It wasn't even that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
She did all that dirt and probably had very little influence in the last 20-something years of the drug industry. But they still remembered it so much that they were like, as soon as she get out, we got her.
And it's that thing because she was a woman. She had to be more ruthless than the guys.
She had to be worse.
Yeah, she was assassinated
in order to get the respect.
September of 2012 in Medellin, Colombia.
2012. That wasn't even a long time ago.
No.
That's very recent. And then the crazy thing is, I remember when especially the first time I watched Cocaine Cowboys, my mind was like blown. What? Like, wait, why is this not? What?
This chick is so bad. One of her sons is named Michael Corleone Blanco.
Yeah, he's still alive. He's on a reality TV show too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Who's he on?
He's on Cartel, something Cartel.
That stupid show.
That show. It's so weird. But the thing is that the cartel, that generation of cartel is so far removed from current what's going on in the cartel. They don't even care.
Should I follow him on IG? He's on.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the crazy thing is that like he almost died a couple of times. And how he managed to survive at this point is he probably paid somebody off at this point, where it's just like, hey, I'm not part of this no more. Y'all got my mom. You done killed all my brothers practically. Yeah, my dad's gone. I mean, I don't want nothing to do with it. And they probably he's harmless at this point. He can't really do much anything.
But yeah, check out Somos.
I started watching it the other night.
Yeah, Steven, you will appreciate that.
I don't know why. It's just something about drug movies. They always
they use a lot of non-actors.
Yeah,
like the little boy plays Paquito. He's not an actor. The girl that plays his girlfriend, she's not an actor. They use just authentic people. So
wow, that's crazy.
That's like that other show I told you about on Amazon, Zero Dark 30.
Yeah.
That show is And the crazy part is like that literally is like it shows what happens in the space of a week or something on an international level. It goes from Italy to Colombia, everywhere else. Shows you the shipping lanes, like goes to Africa, that's an intense series too.
I'm just waiting for another season of Top Boy to come back.
Oh, and I'm waiting for the final season of Ozark to come out.
Ozark too.
Yeah, that's got to be like
It's gonna be crazy.
Bateman's got to just like seriously turn into like
A
Al
informant.
Capone at this point. He's got to
gonna be a
kill
informant,
people.
or he's gonna start having to kill people.
He's gonna have to kill people.
Because now he's
but that's
with
not
them.
his character, though.
But that's what I'm saying. He's gonna have to evolve.
That the old girl
Because
got shot.
you got to think about it. He can't snitch at this point.
No.
He's pushed them off for so long and turned all the FBI and the DEA and ATF off for so long that now even if he decides to snitch,
And after they
he's
took
still gonna go down.
and especially after they took old boy down to Mexico, as soon as he gets out the SUV, they just capped him right in the head. That was crazy.
So it's like now at this point it's like, all right, well, the only place for him to do is
He can't hide.
He got to turn into a Walter White at this point.
You really can't hide because
No.
he can't just
No.
what he was gonna do before. He totally can't do
He
that
can't
now.
do it now. No.
No.
Because he's too embedded with them.
Yeah, he's gonna have to turn into a murderer.
Because all he wanted to do was focus on the money, but
And
at
then
some
You
point
get pulled
you
in.
can't.
You
Yeah.
can't. With
Yeah.
that much money on the line.
No.
That would, like I said, that much money and who he's involved with directly now. Because if he turns on them, I mean, he might go in protective custody, but they're gonna still find him.
Oh, for sure. There's too many people on the
Too many
payroll.
people on payroll. They're gonna find him.
Yeah.
So it's a very ugly situation to be in for them. So good luck. That's all I can say. That's probably why I live the legal way, because it is ugly on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, I can't wait for another. If they put out another season of Top Boy, I'm on it.
And he got to, because you remember they found out that them two fiends were actually cops.
Mhm.
So like if they hadn't put that part on there, I'd be like, okay, well it's over. But when they did that, I was like, so that means there's more
Gotta
to
be.
this now. So
Gotta
you
be.
can't just leave us like that with knowing that all
But
the people
British
they be
TV
doing
is like that though.
It is.
British. That's why I like. That's why I love British series, because
Me too.
you get that like adrenaline rush of these episodes, and then they give you like 3 ridiculous. Like they could stretch out those shows for what they did in 1 season. They could put that in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
That's why I like Luther.
Yeah,
Luther's
Luther's
coming
another
back.
one.
Yeah. So Idris plays great in that, and then that show Lupin.
Yeah.
I love Lupin.
Yeah. So they'll
I gotta
be
give
back
me one
on
of those
that
trench
too.
coats.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 90 degrees.
You
all
see
the
how he
time.
rocks with those Air Jordans too.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about
Oh, Luther. Oh, that
And
the tweed.
tucks it back.
That shit's
puts his
hot
hands in
though.
the pocket.
That shit's hot though.
That is straight British wear.
It is.
It is.
It is.
You
It is.
don't get that kind of wear in Florida.
Yeah, Lupin. They call them trainers. They don't call them sneakers. But his sneaker game is ridiculous.
It is. It is.
Oh man.
It is. So.
But we're gonna go ahead and close this show out. It's an hour and 22 in. So we are gonna say thank you for listening. We're gonna go ahead and
Mike B, thanks for jumping in.
definitely. Jew, thank you for sitting there and not saying anything. Talking to the girls on Tinder,
Trying to get them girls, man.
trying to get them cheeks
Them
for you.
girls.
Leaves. I don't blame them.
Hey,
They give you that drink that make you not think about nothing.
hey, a true meat man always has to tenderize.
My goal for you is
Wow.
7 new ones before you leave.
Wow.
7 new ones before you leave.
In 7 hours.
What? No.
Wow.
Yeah, you could do 7 in 2 weeks. And if you could finagle a menage,
Wow.
that gift you want will be waiting for you when you get back.
Wow.
Actually, no, it won't even be that. I'll get you something. Matter of fact, I'll get you one of these. Springfield XD 45. Yeah.
Y'all be safe out there. And as always, aim.
Send 'em ass, bitches. We out.
Peace and chicken grease.
Still full.